What's going on, guys? Welcome to Boosted Motorsports. So up here we've got our Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. This thing has a fully built engine, made about 1,000 horsepower at the wheels without even running to its nearly full potential or capabilities. So we got a few things to get done. I'm gonna do it in this video. So right now we got the vehicle up here. I got the exhaust off, but we are going to be getting a upgraded exhaust soon. So I'm still gonna put this one on for now, but I got some stuff coming for you guys with different exhausts, because right now we've got true 3-inch all the way, but then the factory Hellcat exhaust next down to 2 3/4. So we're gonna get dual 3-inch going. In the last video we ended up installing our billet differential. We've got G-Force Outlaw axles. These are rated for some serious power, so is this. And then we got our built drive shaft in. We ended up getting our fuel system kind of situated, because before I had the tank kind of sitting with some spacers, but I had to move it up because the drive shaft is huge and it leaves us with little room here to be able to do anything else. So that's that. And then what I wanted to show you guys was I just finished double checking our driveline. So hopefully there's a bunch of Dodge Charger and Challenger guys watching this. If not, send this video to them, because most people are not checking this. So you have to have your pinion angle, especially in a fixed situation. Leaf spring guys, they'll try to put a little bit of angle into it. But with something where it's not supposed to technically move very much, you want to have your driveline angles so your pinion angle is parallel with your transmission. So you want these two joints, especially in a U-joint situation, to be absolutely as close to parallel as possible, because if they are not, you will get, essentially each joint will end up rotating at a different speed, and that's where you get vibration, because this thing is in the middle between the two. And these joints, if they're articulated and not parallel, they will turn at a different speed and you'll get a vibration, you'll get driveline issues, and potentially even catastrophic failures. So it doesn't take much to check this, but I just got this gauge. I will link this down on Amazon. You can do this on anything. I've also done it on our Hellcat Ram, our Hellcat Dakota. So take this, find the flattest section. In this case, it has this rib section here. This one has a hump in it, so I don't like using that. But you put it here, and then we're gonna hit the reference button. So this will zero it out to what we're here. So if we move it here, you can see it's more or less zero. And then if you come over to here, find the flat edge on your transmission side. And you'll see here, we are 0.82 of a degree. Before, this was even worse. This was like 1.5 degrees. So what I had to do to even accomplish that was I put a 1/4-inch spacer here, lifting the transmission up to reduce this angle. So we want it as close to zero. I also have some other stuff coming. That's why I'm not too concerned about this right now, is because I also have a drive shaft safety loop that's gonna install right here on these 2 bolts. So it'll actually push the transmission up a little bit higher, and then I can also retain my spacer, and that should get us closer to zero. So you wanna get as close to zero as possible. Otherwise, like I said, you will end up with a vibration. So, and if I didn't have this in here, we would be looking well over 1 degree, closer to 2 of driveline angle difference, and you don't want that. You'll get a vibration, and I don't think any of us want that issue. So anyways, that's the situation there. Also, you'll notice this big boss right here, and these 2 bolts. I've got the third, I can't remember what they call it, DRS or whatever, third mount right here. Let's go ahead and bolt this thing on, and that'll give us our third mounting point to give this even more stability on our differential. All right, check that out. So we got that extra mount and brace all in there, and now let's get our exhaust back on and put this thing on the ground, take it for a little test rip before we get into the next thing. Okay, so exhaust is all back on, differentials up here, braces in, fluids are in. I want to pop these wheels off for a couple reasons. One, these wheels are not a hub-centered bore. You have to use these shanked bolts, and I was having trouble trying to find the correct ones. That's why you can see I have a mismatch of bolts. These ones have the proper shank that goes in. This one has a shank that's smaller than the bore on the wheel. And these ones, I had to put extra washers to shim them up because the shank was too long. It was bottoming out on the hub. So there's that. And the other thing I want to do is, this is a 15-inch conversion. You can see the Willwood calipers. I want to find out what rotor these are because I'm pretty sure these rotors are warped. So I want to figure out what rotor this is repurposed off. I'm hoping it's off of like an SXT or some base model, you know, Challenger Charger. And that way I can order a couple rotors to get new ones because, like I said, these ones shake pretty good. And then we can also maybe pop these off and then see how these wheels will fit. So we got these welds here. Bead locks, these will match the fronts. These are 17s for drag racing purposes. We want the 15s on the rear because 15s will give us more bite. But yeah, let's bring it down, see if I can figure out what rotors these are, pop these guys off, and maybe throw on the welds, see what they look like. Okay, so this is the problem I was trying to explain to you guys. So these are the nuts that are from RC Comp for their wheels, but it is loose inside there because otherwise your wheel has no way of centering. They don't make a machined lip for a hub-centric ring. And then these ones, I can't remember which brand these were. It was another big brand that we got. But we purchased these ones, and the shank is too long, so it bottoms out. So I have to either machine them back or do something along that nature. But at least this fits inside there, and it's tight to there. So I put on a few, and I had to double stack these washers to get them to fit. But all in all, kind of a janky setup here, but let me get this wheel off. All right, so it does look like it's the SXT rear rotor on this 15-inch conversion. So just ordered some power stops for my boy Tony at AutoZone, so he'll have them here in a few days. And then I want to show you guys this. So here is the weld wheel, and then this is kind of what happens. These tires are old, so can't really fault them too much, but I do want to show you guys this. So rim is mounted, and you get like a nasty vibration with these. Watch. Can you guys see how much that jumps? Like this thing just jumps up and down like crazy. Hopefully it's coming across on the camera there. It's really nice to have, obviously, tire balancers. This tire is just flat spotted like crazy. So it's not round anymore, but it kind of just is what it is with these things. So let's go ahead and throw in the welds and make sure that those aren't flat spotted before we put them on as well. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So it dips quite a bit. If we spin it up, let's just check this. So we'll adjust everything here. So 8 our distance, because these wheels are a little bit different. 10, and then we got to go 17, and then let's spin these up. So these got some balancing weights on them. We'll see how they do. They're not terrible though. I don't know if you guys can see it kind of jumping a little bit there. So yeah, it wants a 1/4 of an ounce in a couple spots, but I think that will be sufficient. So throw these on. They're better, a little more round than the other ones, but again, this is just gonna be more of our street setup. All right, here's our other weld wheel, and watch, you'll see. Hopefully you can see the flat spot. Hopefully that's picking up on camera. See if I can do a better job of representing it for you guys. See how it, right there. There. Hopefully you guys can see that big dip. Let's see what she spins up at though. But yeah, there is a pretty noticeable flat spot on it. Let's see, yeah, 1/4 of an ounce on each one, so not bad. I'll take it. Hopefully we'll do a big fat burnout at the track and get rid of that flat spot, but looks better than the other older ones. Okay, so I also figured I would check our front skinnies. While we're at it, I just balanced them out to 0. Had to add just a tiny little weight, so just 1/4 of an ounce right there. It already had these 2 bigger weights here and there, but she balanced out. So front skinny, one of them, I bought these used, so I'm not sure who balanced them or whatnot, but yeah, wasn't too bad. So we'll throw this back on. I gotta check the other one, and then we'll have 4 balanced wheels on there. All right, here's the other one from the front. It actually balanced out without having to add any weight, so that worked out. Just always good to double check stuff while we're trying to get ready to go a million miles an hour down the track. All right, so I don't know if you guys noticed or if I showed it or talked about it, but the hood is gone. I sent it out to get painted, so we're gonna be cruising with no hood, it looks like. Because it was just originally that primer black, and it was really ashy, and every time I wash the car, I would get a ton of water spots. So sent it out to get it painted, so that should be back later this week. I have to put the rear seats back in And then I just put fuel back in it that we had drained out. So we'll let this thing prime, then we can let it fire up. And then we gotta go for a few casual heat cycles. Don't know if we necessarily have to, but I want to anyways. So let's prime this a few times. Just cycle it. Oh, never mind. I don't even have them plugged in, so they definitely won't be priming. So I gotta hop back here actually. So I'm gonna roll this back because this thing doesn't show anything because I got both of them unplugged. Check engine light's flashing. This thing is pissed right now. So let's turn this puppy off. If I can get my hands in here, I'm gonna try to put it into neutral. There we go. All right, because right now I'm right up against the lift, so I can't really open the door and get back here because I gotta plug in both my fuel pump modules, because that would make for an unhappy car. Oh, this thing is a pig. All right, she's going. Ugh. All right, now I can open my door. It was up against the post before, so open up the door, flick the seats forward, and then plug in my two modules back here. All right, so seats are back in, so now I should hear the fuel pump prime. So I'll do that a few times. It's gonna be a lot of air in there, so she's gonna cough and sputter, I'm sure. All right, let's see what she's got. So we're just cruising. I almost want to take those hood hinges off because they look so ridiculous just sitting up in the air. But yeah, you can definitely, I mean, I don't know, that I feel like that differential is gonna make more noise just because it's a performance one, but definitely not anything too crazy, but it's a little louder than the last one. But it's hard to say. I mean, that one's got a lot more mounts, so you're gonna hear it through the chassis. But yeah, we'll I just want to take through a few casual heat cycles. Nothing too crazy, not beat on it just yet. Kind of do the same process we did with the 426 Dakota, like I was mentioning. This thing sounds so good. So it is day 2 now, so let the diff completely cool down. We're gonna take it for another casual little cruise. Still waiting for the hood to come back, but it looks pretty crazy with no hood right now. So we'll move the Eco Diesel out of the way, and then I'll go for another little cruise. All right, so same as before, we are just cruising. Look at that. We've got the sunroof open, windows down. So nothing too crazy. You're just supposed to drive for like 10-15 minutes, get everything up to the temperature. Look at that, Corollas are blowing our doors off right now, blowing our hood off. Yeah, we'll just heat cycle this thing and then we'll fully let it cool down. Tony ended up sending the rotors. They got here way sooner than they were supposed to, so I actually got the rotors. So we're gonna go back once we kind of drive around for 10 minutes, go back, and then I'm gonna try putting those rear rotors on with you guys because they showed up. So let's see if they are SXT rotors and see if we can get the new ones on. But right now she's driving way smoother with these tires and everything balanced than it was with the 15s and those flat spots. All right, so it's another day. I was trying to figure this out before I hit the record button, but this is the rear. So I popped the wheel off and ended up trying to fit these power stop rotors because they're much nicer. They're coated, they don't rust. They're the same ones that we installed on the front quite a while ago, and you can see that they just continue to look good. But part of the issue is I cannot seem to figure out who or what or where this rotor came from. The other one fits, but I don't really see any tooling marks on this, but the diameter is slightly smaller. So let me set the camera down, I'll show you guys. So if I take the old rotor and I sit it on top of the new one, hopefully you guys can see that. It's just slightly smaller in diameter. It ends up being about 1/4 of an inch on either side. So essentially 1/4 inch removed. So I'm trying to decide, other than that, the rotor is identical. So I'm trying to figure out, there's a machine shop, this is now Friday, I'm recording this, but there's a machine shop that said that they can turn them for me, but he wants me to bring him, you know, the sample or this one. So that's kind of where we're at. The reason why I'm going through all this is, one, this one looks terrible. I could probably paint this, but the other reason too is these rotors are just cheap rotors, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure these are warped, because I'm getting a bit of a vibration out of the rear when I touch the brakes. So you can see here there's some pretty significant heat spots. The dude that I bought this off of, Travis, he was in the 8s with this car with the same setup. So these have definitely been pushed. So that's the reason why I'm going through all this, but that's the situation on this. Part of the requirements of these rotors is the inside of them has a spot for the parking shoes. So these are definitely both the same. You can see it's got that same lip on both of them. And then I actually installed one of them over here, as you guys probably saw, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So the caliper will not fully seat. See that gap? So that's the difference that needs to be removed right there in between the two. I could technically, in some circumstances, you could just shim the caliper out a little bit, put a couple spaces there, call it a day, but you got to remember this is trying to stay in a tight, compact setup so that you can actually fit the 15-inch wheel in. We start moving this caliper out. You can see my buddy Travis looks like he got into the caliper on some sort of wheel setup before. So yeah, this thing has to be as tight packed in as possible, and we can't afford any additional room. So that's it. For now, I'm going to throw the old rotor back on, and we'll just see what we get into next. Okay, next up, we're going to install this upgraded supercharger bypass valve. So the one that is in here right now, we're going to take it out. I purchased this one. This is a stupid expensive one, and I popped off the lid to see if I could see any differences inside of it. So, but this is an upgraded one. Somehow they take it apart and do something differently, so we'll see. But that one's going to go on here, and then this one's going to come off, because like I mentioned, even though it was making pretty much 1,000 wheel, the bypass valve was not able to hold that amount of boost. So the tuner said to upgrade it to the upgraded bypass valve, which is what's back there. So the lid's got to come off so that we can get to this. So take off all of our bolts and yeah, get that out of there and get the new one in. All right, so we ended up finishing up the car. We got the upgraded bypass valve on there, which you can see right here. So that's on there, and then we ended up taking it for a quick drive. So we got a third heat cycle in on it. I don't know how much it really does or doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to take precautions, because if you guys have been following along, we've had a bit of an issue getting that differential. We had to wait for that thing. That thing went off to the builder of those things, and then it was gone for like 4+ months while the guy kind of dilly-dallied around. Finally we got it back. We didn't get our original unit, we got another unit in it, and hopefully it ends up not being an issue for us. But anyways, it's in there. I'm gonna try to put a few hundred break-in miles on that just before we start really letting it hook up. So we'll see that. And then also I'm gonna do a separate video for you guys on this, but I want to show you guys kind of what's in the queue. So the exhaust, I think that I was telling you guys that it's on it right now, is the factory 2 3/4 factory Hellcat exhaust. This is Flowmaster's catback exhaust, but it's a true 3-inch system. So this will give us more flow. We need all the airflow we can get on that engine, because we're already pushing it above and beyond. So we got that. and some other stuff too. I got a bunch of other stuff over here in queue, but our drive shaft loop also showed up. So let's open that up and see what that looks like. Look at that, it was a huge box for this little box. So there we go, they got the Moroso drive shaft loop. Let's pop it open. All right, so not a whole lot to it, you guys. So this essentially bolts right to where our transmission goes. And then obviously the loop goes on top of that. And yeah, should be a small and concise little setup here. So we'll have to get that on here shortly. I might make a separate video for you guys on this as well, but I'll show you guys the basic install and what it looks like. It's really gonna be simple. It's just a matter of lifting the transmission up, and then there's the 2 bolt holes right there, and it goes on as well. So that way we've got all our safety stuff for the track too. All right, well, I cannot believe that I'm even saying this, but we ended up putting in the bypass valve. Not too much exciting stuff there as far as it's just gonna be able to hold the added boost level. With the smaller pulley up top that we have and the large 15% overdrive that we have on the bottom from MMX. But if you guys can believe this, if you guys have followed along with the story for a while, we had that billet differential. Originally, we bought it from my buddy Travis. He bought it brand new and he made some passes on it, and then he sold his whole rear cradle to me, which is what's in the car. And what essentially ended up happening was when I installed it, it was making a racket of a noise. We sent that unit out, and somehow we didn't even get our original unit back. We ended up getting a brand new one because we had a used one, of course. Brand new one came back. It felt like it was a little bit clunky. We ended up taking it to another person to double check it. They said it was okay. We put it in and it's still making a bunch of noise. So it's just whining profusely, and I don't want to apply any power to it. I've just kind of casually put it around town to see if it would kind of, you know, either break in or it would be, you know, less of a noise, but it's still whining. It doesn't matter if you're just coasting or decelerating. It's making a audible whine, which is speed dependent. So I got to pull that unit back out after we just finished putting it in. And I'm going to put the factory one back in there for now. I do have BMR's solid differential mounts on here, so that'll help as far as keeping this thing in place a little bit. But I'm still going to go to the track. We're just going to have to send it on the stock unit and just cross our fingers that that thing survives. But that's going to go on. As far as other stuff, we've got a brand new Flowmaster true 3-inch exhaust right there. I'm going to make a separate video for you guys on that on the car. And we're going to the track, boys, regardless. But yeah, just a bit of a weird predicament. But I wanted to get a video out for you guys, update you guys on the situation, and let you guys know what's going on with the car. So I promise we are going to be getting to the track, and we're also waiting for our hood to come back. Hood is off also. So anyways, I'm going to get this video out for you guys. I'm trying to be consistent with giving you guys a video every Sunday. We got a lot of stuff going on. We are going to be next month at the Mopar Heaven show. It's going to be at Texas Motor Speedway, March 21st to 23rd. So I'll be there. I'm not sure what I'm going to be taking just yet. We've got so many cars, I can't bring them all from Florida to Texas, but I will be there. It's probably going to end up being the Hellcat or the Hellcat Ram. I might potentially tow the Hellcat with the Hellcat Ram. That way I have the 2 trucks there. So also I'm going to see if I can fit in some other scheduled events also. I also know that Texas 2K is in and around there, so I'll try to see what I can schedule as well. But anyways, give this video a thumbs up. Check out the other videos on the channel if you guys are just stopping by for the first time. We got a ton of content so that you guys can get caught up to speed. Also, check out shopboosted.com. We got a lot of products over there for you guys, and also merch. So support your boy. It's what makes all these videos possible. We'll see you guys on the next one.